Hey guys, how's it going and thanks for coming. I'm Nick and this is Real Life Money. Don't forget to subscribe if you like these videos. So in this video, we're going over frugal tips specifically for saving money with food. Now first we're going to be going over some quick ideas to help you save money on food, different strategies and plans that you could create so you can start saving money as soon as you can. And toward the end, we're going to be talking about how we're able to spend only 75 cents for breakfast or dinner, depending what you want. So let's get right into it, guys, with the first tip of saving money for food is combining meals. I talked about this on a couple of previous videos, but I really think this could definitely help. So when I say combining meals, you know, most people have, I'm not sure about most, but everyone knows that there is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So let's say if you combine two, so instead of having three, you now have two meals. So you have, let's say, a brunch, or no one really says supper anymore. I never did. But, you know, maybe you have like a big lunch or a big dinner to supplement the other meals. Now, while we're doing this, we can also save money in our second tip, which is actually having smaller portions. And I want to focus on a new thought that I actually never thought about for whatever reason, but to actually lower your carbohydrate intake. So I always thought, for whatever reason, because I guess they fill you up pretty quickly, right? So I thought they would just fill you up for a long amount of time when they actually don't. Carbs fill you up quick, turn into sugar, and then they make you hungry fairly quickly after eating them. So I'm learning more about like health stuff and food and everything while my girlfriend's going on her diet. And I learned this, and I think this could definitely help not only for saving money, but it's also healthier. So as her situation, she's eating more protein. So instead of, you know, decreasing your carbs and increasing your protein, one, that's healthier for you. You know, over the long term, you're gonna have less health problems. So that's cheaper for you. But also, when you're not having carbs, one, it's not making you sluggish. You know how you feel after eating a giant pasta bowl or a bunch of rice or beans, which are all delicious. I'm not saying they're not. After you eat all that, you're just bloated and just lazy and don't want to do anything. If you don't have carbs, you will see like an instantaneous change with more energy. You'll feel better. So this could entail you having those smaller portions because you'll be satisfied with less and you're not always going to be hungry. And you can relate this to the first tip, which is combining meals. This is easier to do if you limit your carbs. The third saving money tip is obviously shopping in cheaper stores, but not only that, but to make a shopping list. It sounds like an old person thing, but really, when you plan out and organize what you're actually going for, you'll save money and time that way. So instead of going like back and forth between stores throughout the week, throughout the month, when you actually know what you need, you get it, and there you go. It also helps you from over shopping. So instead of just walking around like, hey, I want that. Hey, I want that. If you have a list, you can stick to it. Once you're all done, you leave. Don't forget your coupons. And speaking of coupons, this could be like a separate strategy. But for number 4, I kind of did a previous video on this. This was how I was able to spend only 18 cents on lunch. Not to mistake it for our 75-cent breakfast for our next tip that we're going to be going over. But I was able to spend only 18 cents for a lunch because of mystery shops. And I want to talk about it because not many people do. So you're basically going out to restaurants. You could go, there's actually a bunch of mystery shops that you can do. You could do grocery stores. You could do just anything really in general. It depends on your location. But once you do your review, you actually get reimbursed and also compensated depending on the actual shop. So I did one for lunch, I got reimbursed, only spending 18 cents after that, and I still got $6 commission on that. So essentially you get free food, and that's a great way to go. If you want to learn more details about mystery shopping, I'll leave a link to that video in the description that you can check out. Now our number 5 saving money tip for food is something that I never really thought about, but it could definitely help us out, and this gets us to our 75-cent breakfast or dinner, depending what you want to do with it. So instead of having like an actual meal, like preparing something for every single meal of the day, you could actually have a meal supplement or like a liquid meal instead of preparing something. So an example would be a protein shake. So going back to the other tips of lowering your carbs, you can do this instead. Well, not instead of, like, as well as, this is an example of lowering your carbs by having a protein shake. That's what I'm getting at. So one, this is obviously much quicker. You don't have to prepare anything. You just take it out of the refrigerator and there you go. You have a protein shake. Again, because my girlfriend is on this special diet, this is actually working very well for her. She's doing well. And we've been going to BJ's. New favorite store. They have great prices at bulk. The problem is, it's in bulk, and it depends what you buy. So if you need something in bulk, that's fantastic. Just watch out for the waste that you could incur from buying a bunch of stuff you might not use it all, especially things that go bad, like fruits, vegetables, stuff like that. So going into the actual numbers to show you that I am not lying about the actual 75 cents. So at BJ's, they have a case of protein shakes. If you want to know the brand, it's Premier Protein. They have vanilla and chocolate. I personally like strawberry, which I think is underrated personally. But if you want to know about the brand, there you go. There's a bunch out there. However, for this case, it's $17.99 for 24 like jugs, whatever you want to call them. So that equates to 75 cents per container, and you could have one container for your meal, which could be breakfast. Boom, there's your 75 cents. It's much quicker. People should not be spending even a few dollars, $5, $10 for breakfast, like at, I don't know, McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, which is pricey. You can spend less than a couple bucks. A little side note, which is also a cheap breakfast, eggs. Eggs are really cheap, so if you cook them on your own, there you go. That's probably less than 75 cents. Now, given you probably shouldn't eat a lot of eggs because there's a lot of cholesterol and stuff like that, I'm no health expert. But I will say too much of anything is not good. But eggs are cheap, so that could be another form of breakfast that you can do. So there's your 18-cent lunch, there's your 75-cent breakfast. Heck, I might go into cheap dinners in the near future if you guys are interested. It's kind of interesting to me, so that's why I wanted to talk about it. But the best way to do anything like this is to combine all of these tips into one and really staying focused and organized to do it. A lot of people spend money on food, guys, a ridiculous amount, and it adds up over time. You know, if you're looking at a few bucks for like a coffee, or, you know, $5, $10 for a lunch, looking at just that specifically, no, that is not a lot. Like, $5 or $10 should never make or break your life. If it does, we got a bigger problem. But, you know, $5 or $10 is not too much. However, $5 or $10 daily, that's what eats into your life, your saving habits, your investing habits. So if you could deduct that amount, or decrease that amount rather, you could increase other aspects of your life. So you could actually enjoy it more. You have more flexibility and freedom with your money while you're saving money on food. And this isn't to like struggle and just be depressed while being on like a different diet or something like that. And I don't like using the word diet. But we should alter our lifestyles so it's healthier and more efficient for us. It's not only about money, it's about time and also the energy that we have so we could use that energy to actually do things we love. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. What are some choices that you may have for cheap meals? I think a lot of people would be interested if you have any of those examples. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it, of course. And I'll see you in the next one.